Hey there, everybody. This is SJ Fantastic, the reclusive, sometimes singular, and sometimes plural owner of NerfPlease.com. So, today we want to kind of branch out, and instead of doing our usual printed media, we wanted to try something new. We're expanding our YouTube channel, and today we just want to change from media format, and make it from text to an audio file. So, with that, I just wanted to go through our first article, which is Top 10 Ways You're Trolling and Don't Even Know. So when you're playing a game, you know that sometimes you're not trying as hard as you should be. But it may not be evident that you're doing things that lead to your defeat, and you may think that you're doing pretty well. For example, you might be, positive, getting plenty of assists, not really dying much, but you're still kind of in your mind, you know you're not trying your best. And here's 10 ways that you might be soft trolling your team and just don't know. So the first one is recalling after an ace. So when you kill an entire enemy team, there's literally nothing that can stop you from just having your way with your entire base. You can go for turrets, you can go for inhibitors, and Dragon and Baron are free, right? Of course, if everyone on your team is dead and you have 2 HP, you may want to go back to your base and recall, because you don't have enough health to actually kill anything major. But if the minions push the turret, there's no reason not to keep pushing until they respawn at least. There's no way they can even touch you. So always make sure you're pushing for something extra, especially when you have some sort of advantage. Second one is chasing kills. You don't need the ace. You can get the kills and then go for the same objectives without following this guy all across the map when you know you can't catch him. Like, I've seen people on, like Lucian trying to chase down a Nidalee. Like, you're never going to catch her. She's just going to keep jumping over walls. You're just going to keep flashing over trying to catch her, and you're just never going to get her. Just because she's faster than you. But still, it doesn't stop people from trying, and it's a bad idea. When you see them running towards your base, it's always very appealing to try and chase after them because you know eventually you're going to catch them. But obviously, it's a waste of time. You should be going for main objectives and not chasing kills. So this next one is, it pains me to say, but picking non-meta champions is not a good way to win. I love playing non-meta champions. We have an entire section of the site dedicated to it called Weird Pick Wednesdays. But obviously, when you're playing a non-meta champion, you kind of are reducing your chance of winning, right? So when you play, like, say, a marksman top, like playing Vayne, and it feels really good during laning phase, right? You're bullying them, you're winning trades, you might be killing them a couple times, but then, like, late game rolls around, suddenly the Ornn that you were picking on is not picking on you and the rest of your team. He's built straight armor, your entire team is full AD because you decided to go Vayne top, and that's all she wrote. That's a defeat in the books. The next was AFK at start. So, I know, we've all been guilty of this before in the past, and the game barely does anything in the start of the game, right? Everyone sets up for jungle, there's a couple of minutes, minions haven't spawned yet, and it's a good time to go to the bathroom, grab a cheeseburger, glass of water, glass of wine, if that's your to do. But once in a while, your team wants to invade, and with or without you, they're going in 4v5. Or their team wants to invade, and they come in, destroy your jungler, take their blue buff, blow all their summoners, and you come back and your entire team is going, could have used your help there. Well, that's the AFK at start, right? It's not always going to be an issue, but once in a while, you're going to get a major disadvantage and probably lose the game off that start. So if you're trying really hard to win ranked, don't just leave the game at the beginning. Be there, help your team. And the second one is not helping teammates. So I see a lot of streamers, a lot of YouTube producers, they say, like, always go for the best play, right? So if you see your teammates about to do a really dumb play, then just keep farming. Don't worry about them. They'll figure it out themselves and realize what a terrible player they are and repent from their actions. Well, that's not the case. What's gonna happen is they're gonna die and they're gonna say, oh my god, dude, why didn't you help me? And you're gonna say, XXX told me I should be farming and this is the best way to win, and you're bad at the game. That's when they're going to rage quit and leave you with a 4v5. So, point of the matter is, helping your teammates, or at least appearing to help your teammates, is key to winning. So you'll see a lot in high elo, if the top lane TP's bot lane, the enemy top lane will also TP bot lane. If the mid starts moving, the middle starts moving, the jungler sees a gank, he starts with a counter gank, and it just becomes a cluster bot lane. Which is fun and not fun, depending on if you're winning or if you're losing. But, case in point, always help your teammates. You help your teammates, build morale, you get the win, you get the objectives, you push for the win, and it's always just better. So before Champion Select starts, there's your role setup, right? So not being too willing to change roles is key to success. For example, if you know you are an amazing jungler, every single game you're going 30-0 to Hecarim, and you're just destroying the enemy team. But then you see a guy in Champ Select, he's got top lane, and he says, hey man, can I jungle? I don't really top, right? You might just be like, oh, I'm really good at top lane. So you pick top lane, and let him go jungle. Then like 10 minutes in, you realize he's pretty bad at jungle. Like, maybe he's like 3-2, but he's not helping your teammates, he doesn't counter gank, and you're playing top lane, maybe you're like 2-1. You're winning your lane, but you're not doing great. You're not snowballing game. You're not making objective plays. You're not just destroying everything the way you usually do when you're playing jungle, right? But if you made him top lane, maybe he goes like 1-3. He loses lane, but he doesn't do that badly, and you still go your normal 30-0 hacker and running people over. Just because you swapped lanes and he is now a little happier, you could also say, I don't really play top, which would be a lie, but you know that you're way better than him at jungle, right? And that's optimal. Don't swap your role if you know you're just really, really good at one role, and this guy doesn't look that good at that role, but you have a feeling he's not going 1-12 and playing like main top or anything, right? So, the next one I want to talk about is dual queuing, and a lot of people are going to give me flack for this one, but dual queuing is probably the worst way to gain elo if you're playing with someone who's actually at that elo, right? So it's different if you're dual queuing with a Smurf in gold elo, and he's actually like a diamond or master tier player, right? Then dual queuing is great. He's going to run over the game himself. But what Riot does is if you're dual queuing with someone, it gives you an automatic MMR boost, right? So it's not like gold to platinum, but it's like gold 3 to like gold 2. So if your synergy with your dual queue partner does not exceed the MMR boost that Riot's giving you, you're giving yourself a disadvantage. And of course, maybe you have good synergy together, you got good CC chains, you have good gank patterns, but overall, most dual queue players that are playing together are not actually having enough synergy to overcome that MMR boost. Of course, if you are that good together and just have been playing together, know your lifestyles, know your different rotations, then sure, dual queuing may be better than solo queuing, even if you are both gold players playing a gold MMR. So the next one is not looking up teammates. And a lot of people say looking up teammates is silly. You see them, you're going to be like, oh, he's on a 5-game loss streak, I don't want to play with him. You're already tilted from the beginning. But looking up teammates is not a bad thing, right? If you see your teammate is a one-trick Yasuo main and he hasn't hovered Yasuo, and you were planning on banning Yasuo, if you ban Yasuo, he might just be tilted from the get-go. You might have just tilted him even further, right? Even though he might be not doing well on Yasuo in the last 5 games, that might be the only champion he actually knows how to play reasonably. And if he played a different champion, he'd really be like 0-50, right? So knowing that fact is still helpful and will be beneficial to you when you're trying to climb the ladder. Next one's tunneling builds. And I know it's been said many times before, but just straight up playing one build is not the way to go. Even in TFT. Maybe in TFT. But say you're running Ezreal and you always build Iceborne Gauntlet. Well, Iceborne Gauntlet is a great item, but if your team already has a ton of CC and their team has all magic damage, Iceborne Gauntlet is not exactly going to be your best choice. You might want to try Trinity Force instead. Similarly, you might see builds that say go Ninja Tabi, Bramblevest top lane. Well, if you're against like Vladimir Rumble, you should probably build some magic with it. Like it's just common sense. Just don't tunnel builds. Think about why you're building these items and try and make your build as good as possible to help your team and face the enemy team. So the last one's my favorite. The split lane farming, right? When you have teams that see a massive mini wave coming, what you'll see is everyone just congregates to the same lane, tries to take all that juicy farm for themselves, right? And that never works out in practice because, they all think they're going to get the farm. Maybe one person gets the bulk of the farm. Maybe they'll split it evenly. Maybe they just miss all their CS because they're so busy trying to fight over each other and the cannon main just destroys every single one. And that's not helpful, right? You want to make sure you're splitting your farm equally. And if you see 3 lanes and 3 champions farming the lanes, that's perfect. If you see 1 lane and 3 people in the same lane, you're not doing it correctly. Maximize your CS, maximize your gold, and you will win more games. So this is our top 10 ways you're probably soft trolling and don't even know it. If you like this video, please feel free to give a like, comment below, and subscribe to the channel for more content in the future. Thanks for watching.